Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
And welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast. And today we have on Jerry J. Bob, the owner of Supertators. Jerry, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, as you said, I'm Jerry J. Bob. I'm an entrepreneur. I expect a lot of things: engineer, marketing guy. I guess classic case of your small business person who kind of sort of has an entire bag of tricks to make his business work and to make his business grow. I'm located in Scott, Louisiana. My restaurant specializes in stuffed baked potatoes, soups, salads, sandwiches, wraps, all original recipe, all good stuff, all handcrafted, all made to order. I'm very proud to say that in about a week here, we'll be making 11 years old. So we opened in 2014, and we're looking to grow and scale. And at the point that I'm looking to see if I can kind of launch a personal brand, by using my restaurant as a springboard, so to speak.
Amazing. So that's kind of going to be like your personal brand, where you're going to be talking about you, your journey, your leadership, your knowledge, your business knowledge and everything. And it's going to be like, this is what I'm learning over the years, right?
Amazing. Right. Well, when you're hands-on, when you're forced to do something, you find that you're a lot more motivated to learn it. And you've got a lot more incentive to learn it. And I'm kind of sort of one of those people. And again, we're proud to say the things that I've learned. And I guess like at year 11, it's like an eternity in business. but I now want to be able to take basically what I've learned and share it with others. Maybe there's some new entrepreneurs that can share the knowledge that maybe took me a little bit longer to gain, but I can just give it directly to them and they can use it as they see fit.
Definitely. Amazing. This is amazing. Let me kind of ask you, because I think where you are now is kind of similar to a lot of our audience. What is that push? What is really pushing you to kind of start that personal brand? Why do you feel like you need to? Like you're in business, doing it for 11 years, over 30K. Why do you just need to start a personal brand?
Well, I believe that as my brand, we were one and the same for a long time, and we'll probably we'll forever be joined at the hip, right? But I found that in order to reach the audience that I feel that I need to reach, I have got to step outside of the restaurant. I mean, I've got a lot of skills, I've got a lot of abilities, right? But sometimes when people see you in a certain environment, they only associate you with that particular environment.
Yeah.
Well, you may have a lot of things that you can contribute, a lot more things that you can kind of sort of branch out to, but they kind of sort of won't let you. It's almost like having an actor that is typecast in a certain role. They'll only see you in that role unless you step out and show them that you can do some other stuff.
Definitely. If you're the guy always acting the horror movies, you're going to be the horror movie actor. Maybe you could do a superhero, but they're never going to let you because you've like.
Exactly. So that's where I am. I'm looking to try to expand, and I've been doing it a lot on my own. But now it's, again, I want to also play like a mentor role. So again, those who are maybe having difficulty in business, there's some things that I can teach. There's some things that I can share as a business coach, a variety of other things. But again, I need the right lane to be able to do that in. To establish myself as somewhat of an authority figure in business, not just in food.
Amazing. I really love the ambition. It's amazing. Well, you said, there's a lot of places you want to get to and you can't do that without branching out. When you said that, what did you mean? Did you mean like being a business coach? Did you mean like starting to do a lot of speaking? What did you mean? Kind of break that down.
Well, I think I think having a successful business is the first
Yeah.
key to being able
Yeah.
to give advice, because you can't give advice if you haven't done it yet, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, I can probably go to another restaurant and say, hey, look, this is how I've been successful in what I was doing, right? But I think that
Yeah.
when people respect your knowledge as an overall business owner, I can almost go into any business and give the same advice, and they will respect my advice the
Yeah.
same way, because they don't just see me as just a restaurant owner; they
Correct.
see me as an entire entity, like a business expert, a business coach.
Amazing, amazing. That's the kind of where you want to get. Amazing. I really, really love the ambition. I really love the ambition. Let me kind of ask you, since you since you want to be, how long have you been wanting to do that? Did you always see yourself as sort of a business coach?
Yes, but let me explain.
Okay, I'm
Um,
listening.
I always felt like I had the ability, but I think you have to have the proof, and the proof
Mm,
is my business. So
who it is.
if I go to someone and I say, hey, this is what I know, they may say, well, show me the numbers. And instead of actually showing them that I've scaled 20 other businesses, I can actually show them something that I built from the ground up. I can show them the infancy stage, I can show them the toddler stage, I can show them the teenage stage, and I can show them now at 11 and say, hey, we've done a lot of things, and we've not only done a lot of things, but we've gone through a lot of transitions. For example, COVID. Most people, we don't want to remember COVID, but COVID was a thing. A lot of businesses didn't make it. Um, there's a lot of
Yeah.
businesses who probably should have pivoted to something different, but they didn't. But the real genius of COVID, if there was to be anything that good came out of it, that people started to learn different ways to do things. I was one of those places where I was like, you know what? Let me change some things. I
Mm,
became a lot more faster, a lot more efficient, a lot different in business operations. So the core of our operation stayed the same, but we pivoted to
mm.
something different. And customers at first was like, well, what are you doing? How are you doing this? But I knew, because I had
What do you
studied
mean?
it.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Break it down. Break that down for us. Break that down.
I was kind of able to make that transition. So it the building was the same, the menu was the same, but the structure was the same. So it became another version of itself, Super Potatoes 2.0, so to speak.
Amazing.
And when I
Amazing.
realized that in order to have longevity, it was important to be open to change and to be open to pivoting.
Amazing. Amazing. So what are some of those changes that you kind of made so our audience can kind of, tap into some of that value?
Um, well, we went from being a traditional setup as far as a sit down dining kind of place, and we transitioned to becoming a delivery and takeout type of advanced ordering specialty establishment. So we were able to still take the same base, but just become something different, or become something more efficient, right?
Yeah.
And so although you took away one thing, you became four or five other things. So almost a better version of yourself, a faster version of yourself, a better quality controlled version of yourself.
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
And let's talk more on the social media side. Let's talk more on the social media. What has kind of your journey been with your restaurant over these years, kind of building that social media, getting out there?
Well, I like to say I was a pioneer when it comes to social media marketing, because we opened in 2014. So I knew as a business owner, especially as a small business, that I didn't have the budget to do full scale billboards and commercials and such. So I went with what I knew. And what I knew was social media marketing. So how do you get the word out to people? By using non-traditional, non-conventional advertising methods. And of course, fast forward 11 years, now people are like, well, I can see, there's lives, there's podcasts, and there's this and that. But in 2014, none of this existed. So you've got to find a way to piggyback and go where the eyeballs are. So wherever people are looking and wherever people are paying attention to, you got to make sure that you get your business in front of those eyeballs. And so I did that. A lot of sharing, a lot of pictures, a lot of sharing my own personal journey, which is why, if you remember me earlier when I said that me and my social media were kind of sort of one and the same, that's the way a lot of people got to know me, because they were like, well, that's the guy. And so now me and the restaurant are like, we're married. We're married, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah,
basically, but now you've got to find a way to kind of say, okay, this is Jerry and this is the restaurant. So in case I ever, I don't anticipate getting out of it, but say if I'm not around, or say if something happens to me, I want people to know that they can still get the same reliable service, the same expectations, the same high quality control that they got from me, but maybe from someone else, or at least someone else that has stepped into my shoes temporarily.
Amazing. So what's that next step for you?
Personal branding, business coach, allowing people to know my story, because I think that sometimes when you're successful at something, people tend to kind of sort of put you in that place. You don't get the opportunity to expand. You don't get the opportunity to do anything different. You have to actually be what they want you to be. And if you know anything about customers, they don't particularly like change. They don't particularly like the unfamiliar territory, because they come to you for something, whether it be, in my case, a restaurant, or if they go to you for business coaching, or if they go to someone to buy a car, they want exactly what they're familiar with. And so what I've done over the course of the last few years is introduce something different. So again, still the same, but slightly different. And sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. It makes them very uncomfortable because it's changed, it's different.
Amazing. So your personal brand, I'm just picturing it right now. Your personal brand, business coach, started, took business from 0 to 6 figures. 7 figures from now. What you do? Yeah.
And what's really cool about what we do is I'm being relatable, because what I figured out about personal brands, or even in my case a business, people tend to identify with stories. They identify with people, right? They may not even like your food, but if you're a cool guy, or if they think you're a cool guy, they'll probably come and support you. But I've kind of wanted to be different. Like, I wanted to have a good product, right? I mean, even in the beginning, as I told you, me and the business, we grew together. But I wanted to still make sure that I served a good product, that I was efficient at what I was doing, and in year maybe 2 or 3, it was like, wow, we started winning awards. We started being featured on TV. It was so much, but I had to make sure that I had a product that I can sell to the people prior to being on that next stage. And so if according to what I've done, every 3 years, 4 years, I noticed that my business jumps up and it changes a little bit. And it's scary because, again, people hate change. But I've noticed, though, if you picture your business as a roller coaster and you strap in, it'll take you exactly where it needs to be. It'll be some twists and some turns, but ultimately, if you stay the course, you'll be where you want to be.
Definitely. It's like you have to have that big picture. You have to know what that goal, that Hawaii is.
Yeah. And so again, and that's where we are now. We've done well for a lot of years. We're experts at doing what we do. We serve good food. We won, countless awards. I run out of space to put all the awards that we won. And now, and I think the awards that we won and the recognition that we receive, allowed us to be able to get to bigger publications like Forbes and New York Weekly and those other ones. And in our area, this past October, we were voted, or should I say, I was voted, one of the best chefs in my area. And that's a high honor because, before you conquer any other stage, it's important that you conquer your area.
Definitely. Let me kind of ask you, because I said you have a lot in common with the people in our audience. What would you say to kind of the people in our audience who are coaches themselves? They've already started doing something and they want to transition into a personal brand like yourself. What would you kind of say to them? But they're a bit skeptical. They don't know. What would you say to them?
What I say to them, I'd say be bold, be
Mm,
bold, be adventurous, be that person that won't accept no for an answer. Because sometimes you have ideas in your head. If you're like me, you're an entrepreneur, there's a lot of people that'll say, well, maybe he's crazy, or maybe she's crazy, or maybe they don't understand. But what we realize as entrepreneurs is that sometimes we're blessed with a vision that not a lot of people have. And so
mm,
sometimes you take that vision and you share it with other people, they'll say, no, I don't like that. So you find out that sometimes you have to go it alone. You have to take your idea and you just have to jump off the ledge and you have to make it work. Now you'll find that once you make it work, then the supporters will say, wow, I knew that idea was going to work the whole time. But they didn't believe it. And you knew that they didn't believe it. But you did. And really, at the end of the day, that's really all you need to believe in you is you.
amazing. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Also, like getting to Forbes is something recognized as something big. What would you say it took to get there?
Well, it depends if you want to know the honest truth. And the truth is, and everybody probably says it, hard work. But when I say hard work, I mean the day-to-day grind, dedication, waking up at 7 a.m. and not going to bed until midnight some days, making sure that I actually work my own establishment. In my case, you'll find me any day preparing food, taking phone calls, serving tables, trying to make my business or trying to take my business to that elite level, and not really depending on someone else to do it for me. And so when people like Forbes are looking for, people to feature, they want people who actually have a good business, not those who are out there bragging about the fact that they have a good business, but those who are actually doing it, that are actually putting in the work. So it took a lot of years. So figure I had been in business at that point 10 years. 10 years. And being a small business, you don't get the Forbes opportunity, at all, let alone twice like I did. It's like, wow, I've got this opportunity, but I really want to show the public and their readers that I'm a legitimate business. I may be a small business, but I'm a legitimate business and I'm doing big numbers. And I
Are
am.
you a small business? You
Well,
keep
I
saying
consider
small
myself.
business. Are you
I
really a small
consider
business?
myself. Well, let me tell you this. If I had to get a nice, neat quote, I'm a small business who thinks bigger.
Mm,
So my brain is big, my ambitions are big, but my footprint, it's small. So I do big numbers, but there's only a small door that you can pass through, to receive what I've got to offer.
and what's gonna expand that door?
Um,
What's gonna
as I say, well, my next stage is what I want to be is personal branding, and I want to make sure that I'm in a position to teach the next generation, you know, the things that it took me years to learn. And the businesses that struggle and that close down, I want to be able to walk into a business and identify what they can do to improve themselves, what they can
Yeah,
do to shrink waste or to increase profits or to increase their footprint the same way that I did. And maybe not the exact same way that I did because every business is unique, but I can provide them with the tips and the tricks and the advice, and not just the advice, but just to follow through, to see them
mm,
succeed.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Let me kind of ask you this then. This podcast has been really great. We're getting kind of to the end of it. You say you don't have much time. Let me kind of ask you this. What is something you wish I asked you on this podcast?
Let's see. Well, we didn't talk a whole lot about my background because I think that my background, I came from very humble beginnings. Didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of opportunity. Came from a very,
Yeah,
very small town. But I had parents who believed in me. Um,
amazing.
but even at times, I found that as much as I loved my parents, sometimes um,
They can't
sometimes
see us.
they can't see the vision sometimes. And sometimes you, again, the same advice that I had given a few minutes ago to entrepreneurs, sometimes you have to recognize that vision and you can't always share it. You have to sometimes just kind of go for it. But at a certain age, sometimes you realize that, you know what, I've been giving all these good ideas to all these various people, but now I'm in a position to actually implement and take risk and actually put my ideas on paper or put them into motion. And so, but I just hope that people out there recognize that you are enough. Your ideas are enough. Your dreams are enough. Your goals are enough. But what separates a dream and a goal from something that's really awesome or success is you actually putting it into play. You have to believe in what you're thinking and what you're dreaming enough to put it into play.
You actually have to be that person to actually grab that foot and put one in front of the other and actually take that action.
Yeah, there's a classic idea when it comes to like business where we want to live this dream life. And I will admit to you that, you know, if I had to share my experience, it hasn't always been a dream life. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do is to defy, you know, all the conventional logic and actually like make something that was once a small idea into a success. You know, like I said, a lot of long nights, a lot of long days, a lot of no's, a lot of naysayers, you know, but once you get over that hump, you're like victory.
Amazing. This has been really, really great. Where can the people kind of go to find out learn more about what you do?
Well, you can go to my website, superpotatoes14.com, or you can check me out on Instagram, superpotatoes. You can check out my Facebook page. That's one cool thing too, like I mentioned. Maybe I didn't get a chance to mention earlier, but my social media has grown with me. I make it a point to communicate with my audience every single day, regardless of how many likes the post gets. It doesn't really matter to me. But my point is to let people know what I'm thinking, let them know what's going on in my life and in the business's life, so that way they can be more familiar with what we're doing. And that helps people to get to know who you are. And a lot of times when people know who you are, they're more encouraged to make purchases from you, or to encourage their friends to make purchases from you.
Amazing. That's really great. I know you're short on time, but this has been really great. Hopefully we can have you on some other time.
Yeah, I'm here, man. You've got my contact information.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Kind of a different touch, you know. We speak to a lot of coaches, a lot of but never really an actual brick and mortar business owner. So this is it's really a different touch.
Well, we do things the old-fashioned way, I like to say, like the actual work put in. You know, there's a lot of people, especially in today's world, right? It's like in the world of like podcasts and things, there's a lot of people preaching it, but not a lot of people actually doing it. So I'm kind of one of those people that live what I say.
Amazing.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?